when we talk about longevity, most people think about the heart, the brain, or even the immune system. But if you really want to know where life expectancy begins to show itself, you must look at the legs. They are not simply a means of getting from one place to another. They are your foundation, your stability, your independence, and in many ways, your body's most honest indicator of how much time you have left. After the age of 60, the legs become the true measure of vitality. If they remain strong, mobile, and well nourished, the rest of the body follows. But when the legs weaken, decline begins, and it doesn't take long before every other system starts to pay the price. Think about it. Your legs carry the weight of your entire body every day without complaint. They are the engines that move blood back to your heart, that push against gravity to keep you upright, that give you the ability to walk across a room, climb stairs, or simply rise from a chair without help. These may seem like small, ordinary movements, but they are the movements of life. The moment you begin to lose them, you don't just lose function, you lose freedom. And when freedom goes, health soon follows. Doctors and researchers have known for years that leg strength is one of the strongest predictors of survival in older adults. There's even a simple test called the chair stand test. If you can rise from a chair without using your arms, it signals strength and vitality. But if that movement becomes difficult, it points to hidden weakness in your muscles, in your circulation, and even in your metabolic health. Your legs don't lie. They reveal what is happening beneath the surface. The decline often starts subtly. A little stiffness in the morning, a shorter stride when walking, fatigue after climbing just one flight of stairs. These signs are often brushed aside as just aging, but they are actually warning signals that the very foundation of your life is beginning to crumble. Ignore them, and the slow loss of mobility becomes a fast track toward dependence. You may still be alive, but life becomes smaller. You avoid stairs, you avoid walks, and you avoid opportunities. The world shrinks around you, all because your legs no longer support you. This is why some researchers call the legs the second heart. When the muscles in your calves and thighs contract, they push blood upward against gravity, sending oxygen and nutrients to every cell. Strong legs keep the circulation alive. Weak legs, on the other hand, allow blood to stagnate, leading to swelling, poor healing, and even clots. Over time, this lack of circulation begins to starve the body from within. What looks like a simple loss of strength in the legs is actually a systemic breakdown that touches every organ. But here is the empowering truth: this decline is not inevitable. You are not doomed to weakness simply because you have reached 60, 70, or 90. Your legs can be rebuilt, nourished, and strengthened. The science is clear: muscles respond to the right signals at any age. Circulation can improve, blood vessels can repair, and mobility can return. The human body is designed with resilience, but it requires fuel. And the fuel does not only come from movement. It comes from what you put on your plate. Food is not just calories, it is information for your cells. When you eat in a way that supports muscle repair, that reduces inflammation, that strengthens arteries, you are literally programming your legs to stay alive. Every meal becomes a choice between renewal and decay. The spinach, the beans, the omega-3s from fish, the potassium-rich fruits, they are not simply nutrients, they are your legs' lifeline. Without them, the decline accelerates. With them, and the body begins to restore itself step by step. I want you to think for a moment about independence, about what it means to walk into your own kitchen at age 80 or 90, to cook your own meal, to walk outside and feel the ground beneath your feet. That is freedom. And freedom depends on your legs. Every strong stride is a declaration that you are still here, still living, still choosing life over decline. So when I tell you that death starts in your legs, I mean that the erosion of strength and circulation in those muscles is often the first sign that life itself is slipping away. But the opposite is also true. Life begins in your legs. Feed them well, move them daily, honor their role in carrying you through this world, and they will carry you much farther than you think possible. The choice is simple, yet profound. Let your legs weaken and watch your independence fade, or nourish them, strengthen them, and extend your life. The legs are not just limbs, they are the lifeline of longevity. Protect them, and they will protect you. One of the most dangerous things about aging is that decline rarely announces itself with fanfare. It doesn't come with flashing lights or alarms. Instead, it creeps in quietly in ways so subtle that we often fail to recognize what's really happening. This is especially true when it comes to muscle loss. The medical term is sarcopenia, and while the word may sound technical, its effects are deeply personal. Sarcopenia is the slow, steady erosion of the very fibers that keep you moving, standing, and living independently. And the frightening truth is that most people don't even realize it's happening until it's far along. Consider this: after the age of 30, the average adult begins to lose about 3 to 5% of their muscle mass per decade. By the time you're 60 or 70, that decline accelerates if nothing is done to counter it. You may look in the mirror and see only a little less firmness in your arms or legs, but beneath the skin, your foundation is crumbling. Muscles are not just about strength or appearance, they are engines of metabolism, protectors of balance, and shields against frailty. Losing them is not a cosmetic issue, it is a survival issue. The reason this loss is so dangerous is because it doesn't just affect the legs themselves. Weakness in the muscles sets off a chain reaction across the body. When your thighs and calves lose strength, walking becomes slower, balance becomes less stable, and falls become more likely. But beyond the obvious, something even more profound happens. Your metabolism slows down, your blood sugar regulation falters, your bone density suffers, and even your immune system weakens. Sarcopenia is like a thread being pulled from a sweater. Tug it long enough, and the whole garment unravels. And yet, because the decline is gradual, many people dismiss it. They say, "Of course I can't walk as fast as I used to. I'm getting older." Or, "Of course I get tired after climbing the stairs. That's just age." But this isn't just age, it is preventable loss. It is a disease of neglect, not an inevitable sentence. The body, when fed properly and used deliberately, is capable of maintaining and even regaining strength well into the 9th and 10th decades of life. There is also a psychological dimension to this. Muscle loss doesn't just weaken the body, it weakens the spirit. When you can't trust your legs to support you, when you hesitate to walk across a street or fear falling in your own home, it begins to shape how you see yourself. You stop feeling capable. You start shrinking, not just physically, but mentally, socially, emotionally. People begin to withdraw, not because they don't want to live fully, but because they no longer believe they can. Sarcopenia steals not just muscle fibers, but dignity. And yet, the flip side is equally powerful. When muscles are preserved, when strength is nourished, there is a deep psychological renewal. A person who feels capable in their body feels more capable in every area of life. The confidence to walk without fear, to stand tall, to carry groceries, to play with grandchildren. These are not small things. They are lifelines to purpose and meaning. In this way, maintaining muscle is not simply a physical act, it is a spiritual one. It is a declaration that life still matters, that independence is worth fighting for, that age does not have to mean surrender. So, what makes sarcopenia silent but deadly is not just the physical decline, but the way it hides itself behind excuses, the way it gradually strips away both capacity and will. By the time most people finally recognize it, they are already trapped in a cycle of weakness, immobility, and dependence. That's why awareness is power. That's why this conversation matters. But here's the hopeful truth: muscle responds at any age. Feed the body with the right nutrients, protein, omega-3 fatty acids, vitamin D, antioxidants, and it will rebuild. Pair that with movement, even simple daily walking, resistance bands, or chair exercises, and the muscles begin to awaken again. Science has proven this repeatedly. 90-year-olds can regain muscle, strength, and vitality if they choose to engage their bodies and nourish them properly. The silence of sarcopenia is broken the moment you decide to act, and I want you to hold on to this image. Every step you take, every meal you choose, is like casting a vote for decline or a vote for resilience. The muscles may weaken in silence, but your response does not have to be silent. It can be decisive, bold, intentional. You can choose to protect what protects you. If muscles are the engines that carry you through life, blood is the fuel. And without fuel, even the strongest engine sputters and dies. This is why circulation is such a decisive factor in longevity, especially after the age of 60. We often think of blood flow in terms of the heart attacks, clogged arteries, high blood pressure. But circulation is not only about the heart, it is about every organ, every limb, every cell. And the legs, because they stand farthest from the heart and work against gravity, are the truest test of whether your circulation is strong or failing. When blood flow slows or arteries stiffen, the first place you will feel it is in your legs. Cramping when you walk, coldness in the feet, swelling at the ankles, even wounds that don't heal. These are not just minor annoyances. They are messages from your body that the lifeline of circulation is breaking down. And if circulation is failing in your legs, you can be sure it is failing elsewhere, in your brain, your kidneys, your heart itself. This is why doctors sometimes call the legs a window into vascular health. What you see happening there reflects what is happening everywhere. But let's pause and think about this at a deeper level. Blood is not just fluid, it is life itself, carrying oxygen, nutrients, hormones, immune cells, and energy to every tissue. With every heartbeat, the body attempts to deliver vitality. Poor circulation is, in essence, life being delivered too slowly, too weakly, or not at all. That is why when circulation begins to decline, it doesn't just cause discomfort, it accelerates aging. Muscles waste away because they are not fed. Skin weakens because it is not nourished. Even the mind becomes duller because the brain is starved of what it needs to remain sharp. And here is where the psychological depth comes in. Circulation is not just a biological process, it is a metaphor for how we live. To circulate is to move, to flow, to distribute energy. When circulation is blocked, life shrinks. People stop moving as freely, stop engaging as widely, stop living with the same openness. The body mirrors the spirit. Poor circulation, in this sense, is not only the stiffening of arteries, it is the stiffening of life. The science tells us that after 60, arteries naturally begin to lose elasticity. They harden, blood vessels narrow, and blood has to push harder to get through. But what accelerates this process is lifestyle. Poor diet, inactivity, smoking, excess sugar, and chronic inflammation. These factors scar the inner lining of blood vessels and rob them of their flexibility. Over time, the result is peripheral artery disease, where the legs themselves begin to starve of oxygen. And once the legs are starved, weakness sets in, mobility is lost, and independence slips away. But just as circulation can decline, it can also be renewed. The body is remarkably resilient. When you eat foods rich in natural nitrates like leafy greens and beets, they open blood vessels and improve flow. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish keep arteries supple and reduce inflammation. Polyphenols from berries and olive oil protect the lining of your vessels. And even something as simple as walking daily pumps blood back to the heart, strengthens vessels, and trains the body to circulate more efficiently. These are not small things, they are life-giving choices that restore the flow of vitality to your legs and by extension to your whole being. And let's not overlook the spiritual lesson here. Circulation teaches us that life is about movement, about flow, about giving and receiving. When your blood flows freely, your body thrives. When your spirit flows freely, when you share, when you connect, when you keep moving forward, your life thrives. But stagnation, whether physical or emotional, is where decay begins. This is why renewing circulation is not only a medical act, it is a statement of intent. It is saying, I will not allow stagnation to define me. I will keep moving, keep nourishing, keep flowing. So, when I say that blood flow determines life or death in your legs, I am not exaggerating. Without strong circulation, your legs wither, and with them, your independence. But when you restore circulation, you restore possibility, walking without fear, climbing stairs without gasping, living without limits. This is what makes circulation not just a medical topic, but a human one. It is the rhythm of life itself, pulsing through you, reminding you that as long as blood flows freely, so does vitality. If blood is the lifeline and muscles are the engines, then food is the daily prescription that keeps everything alive. And I'm not talking about food as fuel in the simplistic sense of calories in, energy out. I'm talking about food as medicine, molecules that carry instructions, signals that tell your cells whether to repair, to grow, to fight inflammation, or to decay. Every meal you eat is not just feeding hunger, it is writing a message to your body, and nowhere is that message more important than in your legs. Think of the muscles in your thighs and calves. They are constantly breaking down and rebuilding. This is normal biology. What determines whether they rebuild stronger or weaker is what you feed them. Protein provides the amino acids, the building blocks, for new fibers. Antioxidants protect them from damage. Minerals like magnesium and potassium keep them contracting smoothly. Vitamins like D and K support both muscle and bone, ensuring that your foundation stays solid. Without these repair stalls, muscles weaken, blood vessels harden, and the slow erosion of vitality begins. What makes this so profound is that unlike some aspects of aging, nutrition is a choice. You may not control the passing of years, but you do control what you put on your plate, and the body responds. It doesn't matter if you're 60, 70, or 90, the right foods still activate the same pathways of repair and renewal. I've seen 90-year-olds who, after months of eating strategically, begin walking farther, feeling stronger, regaining energy they thought was gone forever. That is not chance. That is biology responding to nourishment. But let's be clear, the modern diet is the enemy of circulation and muscle health. Processed foods loaded with sugar, refined oils, and excess salt create inflammation that scars blood vessels. They spike blood sugar, weaken insulin sensitivity, and accelerate muscle breakdown. These foods are not neutral. They are toxic messages telling your body to age faster. And the tragedy is that many older adults rely heavily on these foods because they are cheap, easy, or familiar. But convenience is not worth the cost of vitality. Contrast that with foods that act like medicine. Leafy greens like spinach, kale, and arugula flood your blood vessels with natural nitrates that relax arteries and boost circulation. Legumes like lentils and beans deliver plant-based proteins that repair muscle while stabilizing blood sugar. Fatty fish such as salmon and sardines supply omega-3s that reduce inflammation and keep your arteries supple. Mushrooms provide vitamin D, which so many older adults lack, strengthening both bones and muscles. And fruits like blueberries and pomegranates supply polyphenols, tiny plant compounds that protect the very lining of your blood vessels. Each of these foods is more than nutrition. Each is a form of medicine, repairing silently, steadily, every time you eat them. Now here's the philosophical truth. Eating is not just a physical act, it's an existential one. Every bite is a decision between life and decay, between renewal and decline. When you choose foods that strengthen your legs, you're not simply eating. You're voting for independence, for mobility, for the ability to stand on your own 2 feet tomorrow. You are choosing to honor the body that carries you through this world. And that choice has ripple effects. With better circulation and stronger muscles, you don't just feel better, you live differently. You walk more, engage more, connect more. Food becomes the foundation of a larger, fuller life. It's worth remembering, too, that food carries cultural, emotional, even spiritual meaning. Sharing a meal with family, preparing a dish with love, eating foods that connect you to your heritage. These are not trivial things. They nourish more than the body, they nourish the soul. When those foods are also aligned with health, they create a harmony where eating becomes both pleasure and medicine. This is the ideal. So, when we say food is medicine for your legs, we are saying something much deeper than eat healthy. We are saying that nutrition is the most immediate, most powerful tool. You have to rewrite the story of aging. You cannot buy independence in a bottle. But you can cook it, grow it, and eat it. And here is the empowering part. Change begins with a single meal. You don't need perfection. You need intention. Add a serving of greens to your lunch. Swap processed snacks for nuts or fruit. Replace fried foods with grilled fish. Over time, these small acts accumulate, repairing your vessels, rebuilding your muscles, restoring your energy. Aging will still happen, but it will happen on your terms, with strength instead of weakness, with freedom instead of dependence.